Hi everybody, we're going to install two more plugins, and the first plugin that we're going to install now is Yoast SEO. So do a search in the search bar here, Yoast SEO. This is what you want by Team Yoast. Install now and activate. Now right at this time we're not going to do anything with the settings for Yoast SEO. Right now we're going to add the next plugin. Back to plugins, add new, and now we're going to add a social media sharing plugin called Sassy Social Share. Here it is right here, Sassy Social Share. Install now and activate. Okay, we're going to work on the settings for this. So you can either click on configure the plugin in the notice bar or just click on settings here. Okay, how do you want your icons to display? A round, square, or a rectangle? I prefer rectangle, so I'm going to leave it like that. Width and height is about right, 70 by 35. Now border radius, do you want some rounded corners? So the higher number you put in here, the more rounded the corners will be. If I put 5 in, we've just got a little bit rounded. If I put in, say, 20, we are very rounded. I'm going to set it at 5. Logo colors, if you leave these blank, it's going to show us the default color. So I would normally leave those blank. Counter position. Now this will show the number of people who've clicked on the icons to share your post or your content. Now in the beginning you won't have many, in fact you won't have any, so it's a good idea to have this disabled, which we will do in a moment, but if you want it to display you would select one of these boxes and that's what it would look like to the left, top, right, bottom, or like that. Like that probably looks better. Okay, floating interface theme. This is if you're going to have the floating interface enabled. And this is where the icons will move up and down the page as the user scrolls. Now, I personally don't like that enabled, but if you do, here's where you can select again your shape and your radius for rounded corners and your counter position. So just the same as with the normal interface here. Save changes. Okay, now standard interface. Enable standard sharing interface. Yes, we want that. Target URL, URL of the web page where the icons are located. That's default and that's what you would want. Title, spread the love. We don't want that. Let's get rid of it. Rearrange the icons. This is the order in which you want them to show. And here we can select which ones we want. I'm going to have Facebook, Twitter, I will have Pinterest, I might have WhatsApp, but I'm not going to have these anyway, so let's see. We can untick what we don't want here. Maybe I'll leave Reddit. Horizontal alignment left, so you can have this align left, center, or right on the page. Position with respect to the content, top or the bottom. So you can have the social sharing icons showing at the top of the content or the bottom of the content or both. It's less intrusive at the bottom, but you get less shares. I definitely would not have it at the bottom and the top because it's just a little bit too much. Placement, posts, pages, yes. Show share counts. Now if you don't put a tick in here, the show share counts is going to be disabled. You probably want to leave it disabled and we discussed this a little earlier. The same with show total shares. You can leave that disabled as well. Now later once you start to get a lot of traffic and you're getting shares, you can always put a tick in these boxes. Enable the show more icon. Only applicable if you have a lot of icons. In that case, what would happen is a certain amount of icons will be shown on the page and then there will be a button says show more. But in this case, I've only got these 5, so we don't need the button. Save changes, and under floating interface, I'm going to disable this, but if you want to enable it, and that's where the icons move up and down the page as the user scrolls, then you go through the same process as you did with the standard interface. Okay, and that is all you need here. Let's make sure it's all saved. Okay, now we haven't got any content on the website yet, so there's nothing to look at in respect to these sharing buttons, but we'll be able to see them properly later once we start to add some content to the blog. All right, see you in the next lesson.